Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.wordpress.com. Thank you for joining me today for a card making tutorial, and today we're going to use the little lace stamp set. So I used this for the first time a few weeks ago and I really liked using it. I had some other ideas of how I was going to use it, so here is one of those ideas that has come to fruition. I'm going to change it slightly for the sample I'm going to make for you because I think it's just everything's just a bit too low down on the card. I envisaged it coming out a little differently, but overall I'm very happy with the design, with some sort of monochrome layering and some custom embellishments which you might be able to spot if you know Stampin' Up products. And then there's a bit of Wink of Stella on the flowers as well, just to give it a little bit of a sparkle. Okay, so this is what we're going to make with a little lace, and the colour I've decided to go with this time is Flirty Flamingo. Really nice corally pink, really pretty. So this is my usual card base that I make, which I cut at 4 1/8 and score at 5 7/8 of an inch. Then I have my other layers, my usual Whisper White card layer, which is 4 by 5 3/4, and then I've got another set of layers in both Flirty Flamingo and Whisper White. This one is 3 3/4 by 5 1/2, and then the one I'm going to stamp on is 3 5/8 by 5 3/8. Okay, so that's what we're working with, and just while we've got things in our hands, I'm going to adhere this first white panel to the card base with some Stampin' Seal. If you're new to my channel or new to card making, this is how I do my layering. So I know that I'm going to have an even border because I've cut it to be even, so I line up 3 edges on this end. I'm left-handed, so I'm holding it in my left hand, and I position it so that I know that that bottom edge and that top and bottom distance are equal. Then I'm lining up this top edge and the rest should then be correct. Just take your time. Wet glue is a little bit more forgiving, so if you're a bit nervous about getting your layers correct in the first instance, then wet glue is a good medium to use. So this is the multi-purpose liquid glue that we have, which just allows you to slide things straight if you don't think you've got it right the first time. Set that aside for a moment, and there's something I want to do before we get started. So on my sample card I've got this lovely coordinating ribbon. Now in the catalogue we don't have any Mango Melody ribbon as far as I know. Did I say this was Mango Melody? This is Mango Melody, and Basic Grey for the sentiment. So I've actually made my own, and I've used the Stampin' Blends markers for those. Same with these pearls, coloured those with the same marker so that everything coordinates. Okay. So I just want to do that first so that it's got time to dry. So the ribbon I pulled out is this nice white ribbon, which is actually from the Flowers for Every Season ribbon combo pack. So that you get a white one, a Just Jade gingham and a Misty Moonlight silver and white twine. I'm just going to bring in some scrap paper, and you get out my dark Flirty Flamingo marker, which is there, and I'm going to use the brush tip to apply ink to this ribbon. Okay, and because it's alcohol based, it's going to dry quickly, but not instantly particularly, but I just wanted to get it done so it was completely dry, ready for when I needed it. just using the brush end to stroke that colour across there. The edges are a little thicker, so you might find that if you the other side, it will bleed through on the thin bit, but on the thicker edging you might find you want to go over that and just make sure the colour is nice and saturated, like so. Okay, so it dries almost instantly. It will give it a bit of a bit more of a stiff feel, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. So we're going to leave that to one side to dry completely, and the other thing we'll do is colour our pearls. So these are our basic pearls, they come in white. There are metallic pearls also available, which are smaller. They're all the small size. These are the basic pearls, and we have 3 different sizes of those. So I'm going to do one of each size. Just go over that with the marker to give those some colour, and then a little bit of a second coat, and those will be ready to use when we get to them. Okay, so the plain white ribbons and the plain white and the clear rhinestones are perfect if you've got other mediums that you can colour things with. They can be very, very versatile and expand your stash without necessarily having to buy everything in the catalogue. So they're done and ready. So now we can bring in our layer that we want to stamp onto. And we're going to take the large image from the A Little Lace stamp set and bring in the coordinating Flirty Flamingo ink. Something Stampin' Up are excellent at is colour coordination, so I can be sure that this ink pad and the marker and the cardstock is going to go together perfectly. Okay, beautiful coordination of products. So I've scribbled my measurements onto there, kind of where I want the sentiment to go. So I want this to be a little bit higher, so I'm kind of aiming so that the bottom is across the middle, with it floating into the top half of the card rather than down into the bottom. And something like that angle. There isn't really a right way up for this, but I wanted that little frond in the image to be more upright. Okay, so firm and gentle pressure, firm and gentle, firm, even pressure is what I meant. And you get a lovely crisp image every time. Okay, beautiful lines on there. If I can get it to focus on you, there we are. Okay, really, really beautiful image. Okay, I'm not going to need that ink again. Whilst I've got access to it, I'm going to brush over the larger of these 2 flowers with the Wink of Stella marker. This is a water-based ink, the Flirty Flamingo, as is the Wink of Stella marker. So you may see that the ink, the coloured ink, moves slightly. In this particular design, I do not mind if that happens. You find it's more obvious on if you go over bits that have got like big blobs of colour in them. Not so obvious in the line art. Okay, so that hasn't bled loads actually. Just going over that again. So, brilliant way to add some sparkle without necessarily getting into the mess of using loose glitter. Really, really cool. Really cool. A brilliant product. And again, because it's clear, it goes with everything. Okay? Beautiful. So the next thing then, we can actually layer this up onto its corresponding layer. There's no more stamping to do on there, and I've lost my few, there it is. I buried it under my pearls, which was silly of me, wasn't it, really? So, again, some Stampin' Seal's going to go across there, and we'll layer that on. And again, I'm lining up this bottom edge, making sure the other three sides look even, putting in that top one, and the rest is fine. This goes onto the name card with dimensionals, so there's lots of dimension on this card. I like to bring my dimensionals a little bit in from the edge so they're less visible. You know, when a card's on the windowsill and you can sort of see on the side and down the side of it. You don't really want to be able to see foam adhesive. So if you just bring it in a little bit, it'll be hidden in its own shadow if you like. And we will stick this to the card base. Now I'm going to give you a top tip here. Dimensionals, once they're down, they will come up, but it's not super easy. So if you're a bit nervous about positioning this correctly first time, if you just put a little blob of the multi-purpose adhesive over the top and only press lightly, you've just got those couple of moments just to make sure it's straight before you then press it down a little bit more firmly. But what you will find is that you just need to give that a minute or two just to firm up and get tacky. Okay, so whilst we're doing some of the other things, we'll just leave this to one side to dry completely, and we'll bring in just a little teeny scrap of Whisper White ink, and I've got the sentiment "You mean everything to me." I'm going to stamp this in basic grey. Could have used black, of course. Could even maybe use a dark brown like early espresso, but I thought the grey was a nice softer look. So again, for you out there who maybe have never stamped before and are just coming across a video, ink pad is these particular ink pads from Stampin' Up are a foam base. They're squishy and soft, and if you press too hard they will get damaged. So it's, you mount your stamp and you just lightly press over that wet sponge foam so that the raised areas of your stamp are moistened. You can just see it glistening there slightly, and you press, go straight down, firm pressure, no like, you know, not hard, just so it makes you know, you can feel it, and hold it for a couple of seconds and lift it straight off. You will get a really nice image every time, and part of the secret is the quality of the red rubber stamp or the photopolymer stamps that we do. So, there we go. Oh, there we go. How deep the top, how deeply that's etched. So the ink's only going to touch, if you're light-handed, the ink will only go on to those raised areas and stamp beautifully every time. Okay. Another great set of products are our punches. So this happens to be the Label Me Fancy Punch, and you've got optional ribbon threads and twine holes there as well that can be punched out in your tag, should you wish to. Because this is a small piece of card, I'm just manipulating that through the window there so that I can see that that sentiment is lined up. Okay, looks a little high in there actually. That's okay. Yep. Okay, so you can see how well that's lined up, and then we can just give it a firm press and it crunches through and cuts it out beautifully. And like I say, these holes, you can actually go back and punch into that and make a ribbon slot on there, or equally a little hole for some twine. It's entirely up to you. Okay, I'll throw that away. This is going to be added with dimensionals as well. Again, not too close to the edge. Press them down firmly. And then this is going to be positioned around here. So there's a bit more space with the ribbon that we're going to put on. So last time I did use this stamp, I did a couple of these images, but I thought it might be nice with just a single image as a focal point, which does look fantastic. Okay, so there we are. Okay, so with this one we're going to tie a bow. Now I used the bunny ear method, so I'm just going to use my index fingers to create 2 loops, which I'm then going to just cross over and loop round, just to make a really nice simple bow. Now it will turn out too big on the first attempt, so just pull your tails and pull your loops until you arrive at the size you want. If I hadn't have needed to colour this, I'd be tempted to do this on the spool, so you're not using too much excess ribbon. Okay, so I think I just needed just a bit smaller than that. And then the trick is to try and get them even, of course. Okay, so bows are something that you can fuss and faff with a lot. I'm just going to use my sharp scissors that I use for ribbon, so just to cut those tails off. And I'm going to use a glue dot. Glue dots are really strong. Best thing in my opinion for sticking bows, it's a pressure adhesive, so I just press that against the dot, and when I lift up the ribbon it comes off on the back of there, and that now can be placed where it needs to be, which is somewhere around there. And then all that's left is to place our pearls. Okay, and I think we're going to put our larger one down here somewhere, and the other two, they're gradually getting smaller, so I think we'll put the medium one. Oop, that one's gone flying off off the board, so we'll just go and colour another one in. It just went ping across my desk. So I'll just colour another one. I'm sure I will find that at some random point in time and wonder where it came from. So let's try that again. They don't usually go ping, they usually just pick up like that. Okay, so those are adhesive backed obviously, so that if you just press firmly over those, then they will adhere nicely. And that's our card for today. Hope you like it. This is the Mango Melody version. World your oyster in terms of colours and how you which ones you want to use. I've chosen to use a single colour. You could of course use multiple colours, do what you like. You could have used left the ribbon plain white equally as well. So yeah, so with 40 odd colours, more than 40 in fact, more like 50 colours in the Stampin' Up palette, you could really make lots of really individual cards with those very quickly and very easily. Okay, brilliant. Hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, please give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you did, and share this video with any friends who you think might be interested. Links to the products will be in the description bar below. I'd love for you to check that out, and I would love to be your demonstrator. Thanks for joining me today. Take care, see you soon, and stay safe. Bye.